What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Black Genesis, here with you for another episode of Podcast 1001, episode 7. And we have a friend in the building. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, your favorite realtor, Jimmy.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Thank you for having me. Oh, man.
I'm happy to have you here.
I'm excited. Thank you.
So I wanted to have this conversation with you because I think you're the only realtor that I know closely. You know what I mean? Not super close, but you know what I mean.
Okay.
Within arm's reach, where I can say, hey, get my questions answered or whatever. Yeah. There is a whole lot of mysticism behind being a realtor, a whole lot of false, ideas about what the job entails, what goes on, the reality of the financial aspect.
That part.
And I think people are just, misguided about what really goes down in your profession. So I wanted to talk to someone of color who knows the business, and we're just gonna jump right into it. So
I love it because there are a lot of myths out there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that the consumer thinks.
Right.
Some may be true, some maybe not. So
yeah.
Let's break it down.
What drew you into real estate? And just because I'm nosy, I want to know, what was you doing before?
Ah, wow. Okay. What was I doing before? So what I was doing before is I was in security.
Get out of here.
Yes,
okay.
I was a security professional, and I still take pride and ownership of being security.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first moved out here to LA, it was the only job that I can get.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts.
Here.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, absolutely. Specifically Brockton Town, because Boston people are like, you ain't from the city if you from outside. So.
I have heard that. I have a friend. His name is Carlton. He owns a pharmacy tech school. Mm-hmm. He's from Boston, and he says that, and he's like, there's not a lot of black people in Boston, but there's a lot of black people in Boston if you know where to go.
If you know where to go.
And he's like, we're not that Boston, but we're
right. I say all the time, I'm from the Bobby Brown of Boston. Okay, I'm not from the Wahlberg and the car and park the car, all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so you came out here, you was doing security, and you was like, this shit ain't making no money.
It's like, it was the only job that I can land and get, because I knew for sure was, hey, I need something to pay the bills. Yeah. And then while on my security gig, one of my mentors, who's my older brother, he was like, hey, you should get your real estate license. And I'm now thinking back at that time, the market was heating up and it was really starting to get good. So he's like, hey, you doing your security gig, while you do that, go ahead and start to get your license. And that's what I actually started to do.
Did you have any interest in it prior to him even mentioning it?
You know what? I always wanted to get into business in some capacity, in some way. I can't say at that time I understood what type of business that I wanted to get in. But what made me want to get my license, and I think this is a great story to start off, is my introduction into it. Okay. Which was through my older brother. At the time, he started to purchase properties, but like I mentioned, when I moved from Boston to LA, our primary home back in Boston was sitting vacant at the time. And we ended up putting a childhood friend in there to simply watch the home, right? Because we were like, we don't want nobody to go inside there, mess it up. So we just made an agreement and said, hey, you can stay there. It was a single family crib. Just pay us like $500 a month. And he was like, okay, cool. Right?
What a come up.
For real.
What a come up.
And I'll tell you exactly why it was a come up. Because he was there living, had a girlfriend at the time, just moved out from mom's crib. So, hey, he's got his own crib now, doing the thing. And then my brother hit me. He's like, hey, I know we're renting out the property back home. Do you know how much it can actually rent out for? I'm like, hey, we getting $500 a month. What you mean?
Yeah. And extra income is extra income.
Extra because
until you realize the value.
The value.
And then you go, wait a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, we getting $500 a month at school. He's like, no, let's actually do the research, the rental market to see what it can be rented out for. So, you know, he sent me a few things and he's like, long story short, if we were to fix it up because it wasn't in the best condition.
Okay.
He said we could get about $2,300 for it.
Damn.
I was like, $2,300?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but there's work that we got to do. And that is really the introductory to the real estate space. So from that point on, we spoke with my friend back home and said, hey, we're going to fix up the home and ultimately try to rent it out for a higher price.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know, I actually wanted to start to move out because him and his girl, I think they were starting to have some issues or something. But he said, okay, perfectly fine. So at that point, he ended up leaving the house. I went to Boston to start to look at the home and understand what fixes that we had to do. Because when we first left it initially, we were some bad kids. All right. So like we put holes in the walls. Like it simply wouldn't rent out for the price that we wanted to if we kept it in that condition.
Yeah.
So we made a list of, 8, 10, 12 things.
Okay.
We started to reach out to handymen, started to reach out to contractors, started to reach out to different vendors so they can do their job in emptying out the home.
Using your own money?
Using our own money.
Okay.
Fixing up the home for it to ultimately be market ready.
Okay. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was money. You were money motivated to get into.
I would say, but to be honest with you, I think it's recognizing the opportunity that we had.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're anything special.
Yeah.
I just think, luckily my brother one day woke up and said, we're leaving money on the table.
Right.
Which is what I always say.
Yeah.
Is like anybody, if they have a family property and if it's sitting empty, if it's sitting vacant, that's an opportunity there.
Yeah.
Or if you're renting out your space and you haven't done the research to understand what it can really rent out for, if you did some fixes to it, that's an opportunity there as well. There's a term that we always say in real estate, value add, right? What's the value add opportunity that you can do to a property to either make it be valued more or you can rent it out for a higher price?
I tell you one thing, if I ever get into being a realtor, I'm money motivated. I don't give a damn about nothing else.
I remember you actually mentioned that before that.
My deal is, if you have a selling capability, why not sell the priciest product there is? You know what I mean?
I think that's a great thought.
Okay.
Now, different.
I hope I don't sound like I'm just in it for the money, but I don't want to lie and say that I do want to do it for the money,
Yeah, so what I've learned, and you can certainly be in it for the money because it's a lucrative business.
Yeah.
What I've learned, different price points comes with different responsibilities and obligations.
Yeah.
Also, too, by the time you get paid on that certain price point, it's completely different from a lower price point. For example, a lot of people go in the business and they're like, I want to sell multi-million dollars off the rip.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's say a $10 million home. I'm just, we're in Los Angeles.
Right.
Right?
Right.
A $10 million home, it takes maybe 6 to 18 months to actually sell.
Oh.
Right? So do you have the bandwidth? Do you have the reserves? Do you have enough money to hold you over for, let's say it takes 18 months for that $10 million property to sell?
Yeah.
Do you have enough to pay your bills until your payday comes?
Okay.
Versus this sounds crazy, but we're in LA. If you look at a $1 million home that, hey, if we price this right, it can sell within 7 days.
Okay.
So then now, instead of trying to get the big fish, I'm going to just focus on a smaller fish in order to hold myself over until I can ultimately work to get that
Smart.
bigger fish.
At what point did you realize this could be a long-time career instead of a job? Because I'm guessing when you got into what is the so you're a realtor, but when you get into the business, what's the business? It's
real
called
estate.
Real estate, yeah. Why was I?
No. There's real estate sales.
Okay.
When I got into it, it was more of property manager, right? For my own home.
Okay.
Essentially, because I fixed it up and then I put a tenant in there and I was the property manager.
Right.
So that was the specific area of real estate I first got into.
Okay.
And then I got my license, which put me into real estate sales.
Is it difficult to get your license? Like, is it like...
No, yeah. What? License is the easy part.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I thought that they make you like study because you got to take some crazy test.
They do, but what you have to study for and the test that you take is nothing of the actual business.
Oh, okay.
And trust me, you speak to any realtor, getting the license is the easy part. And I think that's just one of the things that separates people that are serious about it and others that don't, right? Because for some reason, you know, I get DMs all the time. Hey, Jimmy, I want to get into real estate. What do I got to do? I'm like, hey, this is the school I took. This is the classes and stuff. Simply do this. You'll get your license, and they don't do it. And I think it's the time commitment that it takes. You know, it does take 3 to 6 months, right?
That's not bad.
It's really not bad. And then you got to pass the test. Okay. But what I've learned at this point, when you pass the test, that's when real estate actually starts.
Got it.
Because it's so much more than simply just getting a license and saying, hey, I can sell properties now. There's a whole different mindset that you literally have to go through as an entrepreneur to say, I'm going to do this as a career, much like you said earlier, versus just a job. Or just somebody that says, I've got my license, but I haven't sold the property in 5 years or something.
When you get your license, would you recommend being like a freelance realtor, or should someone go straight into like a company and then be a realtor for that company?
That's a great question. Yeah. So I definitely think, and by the way, I've been in the business now for 6 years.
Okay.
And what I recommend is you want to go to a brokerage that you like, because the process simply is once you get your license, now think of it as you're like a free agent now. You know, you got the Lakers, you got the Celtics, you got the Clippers, the Spurs, you got all these different organizations that you can join, which are the different brokerages, right? Yeah. So there's Keller Williams, there's Caldwell Banker, there's everywhere. Compass, there's EXP, there's Real, there's all these different organizations that you can now join because they always want agents, right? There's a whole different business model specifically about recruiting agents. But for you, if you just got your license, yes, join a brokerage that you feel aligned with, that you feel they'll give you the training, the resources. Because there's brokerages that will just sign you and say, okay, go figure it out. And at that point, you're so new, you're going to sink, right? What I suggest and what I did was I joined a brokerage, specifically Keller Williams. Yeah. It's actually known as one of the best training brokerages I see them for real estate.
You named all of those, and I recognize their name because you see them everywhere. They're the blue and white sign, right?
Yeah. And that goes into, they've got one of the largest market shares nationwide and almost globally as well. Just because they've been in the business going on since the 80s. You know what I mean? So Keller Williams is one of the long flagship brokerages out there. So I joined them, and then what I would recommend is definitely joining a team because I know the mindset of, you know, especially if you're filled with I've always been somewhat of a confident person, but this is business, right? Okay. This is different from personal. I can be swaggy, but if you don't know how to operate business wise, once again, you'll sink. Yeah. So I suggest joining a team, well, interviewing a few different teams and figuring out, okay, what do they need? And do you feel this is a place that I can really learn the business?
Okay. I'm pondering because as we're talking, I'm like, I kid you not, I am like the queen of, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to do that. And I will take the course and I will do the class and I will get the certificate.
Guilty.
And then I'll be like, ooh, that's interesting over there. Let me do
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and
the next
I don't
shiny
mind.
thing.
Yeah, but you know, I wouldn't mind being a realtor. And it seems interesting. And like, and I like what you're saying about it's a business, so go in and get your training. I'm all for training. I'm all for teach me the game because I don't want to fall flat on my face. I don't mind a few mistakes, but I'm not going to go out there thinking I'm the big shot. Even though I know I have the personality, I have the charisma, I have the... I just have the stamina for it all.
Sure.
But damn it, I want to be with a winning squad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want to do things... like I'm like okay with doing like the slow pace and then to get to anywho we can talk after but anywho okay
Yeah. And then you said something that I just want to touch on, right? Oh man, there's this one saying that, you know, I feel like at this point I've had so many mentors, not that they knew they were my mentor, but just constant coaching, because we always need constant coaching. One thing he always says is fail fast. And at first, I didn't understand what that meant. I'm like, fail? Why do you want me to fail?
Yeah.
But just in real estate itself, which I feel like is like life as well, the faster you fail, the faster you understand why. And a lot of times we don't know what we're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And you have to fail in order to now analyze what did I do wrong for that deal not to go through or not to happen, so I don't make the mistake again.
Yeah.
But a lot of us are very hesitant. We're scared. We don't want to fail and look stupid.
Yeah.
So then we don't make the mistakes, right? We just want to play it cool. No, I got it all figured out because I've been that guy. And at the end of the day, you're only stopping your own growth.
Right.
But it's in those failures that you start to learn and you start to get better.
Yeah. Biggest struggle your first year of being a realtor?
Oh man, just making contact, making calls, because real estate is a contact sport.
Yeah.
What I mean is there's a term getting belly to belly, which is just in front of you, right? My first year, I was so hesitant of I don't know what I don't know. I don't want to get in front of somebody and they ask me a question and I can't answer it. Where the truth of the matter is they didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
So I was putting myself out the game from jump versus showing up, trying my best, making sure I come prepared, whether if it's for a buyer consultation, making sure I understand the questions that I'm going to ask, whether it's for a listing presentation, I know everything that I can about the house. I've done my research so I can be the expert and just come believing in myself as best as I can.
I have a saying, I've been saying this since I was a pup. I don't know if I got this from somebody or if I just made this shit up on my own. Assume people know what you know and assume they don't know what you don't know. Always approach, don't approach the conversation like, well, did you know that? Assume they know what you're talking about. And then the things that you don't know, assume they don't know it either.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like an even playing field.
I like it.
So it leaves room for you to teach them. It leaves room for them to teach you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so you said you had a mentor. It was your brother. You had other mentors. What strategies helped you to grow your client base once you got it going?
Yeah, I mean, so there's you kind of mentioned it earlier. There's shiny objects out there, right? Because there's so many different ways to get business.
Yeah.
Real estate is simple. Get in front of a person. So now how do you get in front of a person? And what we call it in the business is lead generation, right? Which means, okay, how are we going to acquire the business? We can cold call, stay on the phone. We can knock on doors. we can post on social media. We can do flyers. We can do events. We can do open houses. There's literally like 10 to 15. And the goal is when you're first starting out, you should just pick like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Because you can't, one's not enough.
Yeah.
Right. And I think for me, I was like, I'm going to do social media. You know, I like social media. I'm going to show up on social media. I'm going to do it. What I learned from that is my messaging wasn't correct, what I was putting out there, right?
Okay.
If I want to attract sellers to list their home, I should be talking about listing your home.
Okay.
Versus if I'm talking about, hey, you need XYZ to buy a home, now I'm talking to buyers. So I'm talking to a different audience that I actually want to talk to. So understanding your target audience is key if you're specifically going to do social media. But to answer your question is figuring out what are the 3 or 4 strategies that I'm going to go about to get business.
What's the one? So you mentioned social media as one avenue of meeting clients. What's the one avenue that people kind of sleep on that'll get you some clients? That'll get you the conversation starters, the people that.
Can I share my first deal?
Yeah.
How I got my first deal?
Yeah.
Your boy was hurting. Okay. I'm not going to act like I had it all figured out, right? I got in the business. I closed some leases when I first got in, which is kind of standard. A lease is, is pretty simple to get. But selling my first home, I think it took me a year.
Okay.
Right. And then trust me, there's agents out there that'll say, oh, I sold my first home in 45 days. Well, good for you. That was not my story. Right. All right. And the strategy that we did was it's 2 things. One is called driving for dollars, which is simple. Anybody can do this. Anybody. And you don't need, you maybe need 10 or 15 bucks, but I'll tell you why, right? Driving for dollars is simply getting in your car, driving around, and looking at homes that look like what's called a fixer. So a fixer is a home that looks like it needs work.
Yeah.
Like I can't explain it any more easier than that. Some signs are the grass hasn't been mowed. You see paint peeling on the exterior. Yeah. You see windows boarded up, right? Simple signs, all right? I just gave y'all 3 signs.
Right.
You drive around, take your phone out, open up your notepad, and you copy down the address. So me and you, we're driving. Hey, look, let's vibe, turn on some Pac or like, whatever the case.
How
Biggie,
you know I like Tupac?
You know what I mean? East Coast vibe. Well, Pac is right there, right? Right. We vibing, chilling. I'm like, yo, chill. Wait. Look at that house. Yep. Grass. 123 Main Street, right? Do that for 2 hours or how much time you got in the day, right? But the goal should be to, by the end of your session, have at least 15 to 20 addresses. Okay. Now you have these addresses. Now you can simply do what's called a golden letter. Right. So the first strategy is driving for dollars, riding around, collecting addresses. 2, the golden letter. What this letter, when I got my first deal, it specifically said, hey, I was driving around the neighborhood with my client. They took an interest in your property. They are hoping to transact in the next 90 days. Would you be open to selling your home? Right. Now there's all these AI. You can simply type it in on ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever. What's a golden letter that I can send a homeowner? And I'm sure that they'll give you a template, right? But okay, boom. You got your addresses. You now have your golden letter. Now take $5, go buy envelopes. Now, some people out there, they say, hey, the envelopes have to be black or the envelopes have to be pink or the envelopes have to be green or white. Trivial. It's such a psychology thing because you want the homeowner to open up your letter.
Okay.
Right. So, there's different colors out there, but just to get the job done, I'd say go out and buy some envelopes and print out 20 letters, get 20 envelopes, take another $10 to buy the stamps.
Okay.
I said $15 to start, right?
Yeah.
Envelopes and stamps, print out the letters. So now you have your addresses. This is the work that people don't want to do. Even realtors out there, right? They hear all these steps and it's like, I don't want to do all that, but this is the work.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but this seems pretty simple. If your ass is driving anyway, you probably passing a bunch of golden letter home fixer-uppers anyway.
Right. It's like that idea of, let's say you're like, oh, I want to go buy a red car. You'll start to see red cars on the road. It's the same thing. You'll start to see homes and you're like, oh, damn, that home needs work. Stop the car, take out your notes. If you don't see the address on the house, go to Google Maps. You know,
where your pen at? Yeah.
Got it, right? Okay, boom. So now addresses, envelopes, letters, stamps. Sit your ass down for an hour. Stuff them. Do. By the time you got 20 letters, obviously on the letter, make sure to put your contact information because the homeowner has to be able to reach out. All right. Send those bad boys off. So my first deal, I was so tired of not doing deals. I drove around for dollars 4 times a week. And by week 2, the phone rang. And at this time, I was with one of my mentors because we hopped in his car, drove around. He taught me the same thing I'm teaching you. Drove around, got the things, sent them out. One day he calls me. He said, "Hey, somebody just called us." I was like, "What?" No joke. He was like, "Yeah, the address is blah blah blah." Hopped on my laptop because I kept a record of every letter I sent out, right? Because at the time I was operating on a team, and he was telling all of us to do this, but not everybody did it, but I did. So I looked at my notes. He said the addresses, 123 Main Street. I was like, "Oh, that's mine. That's mine." And he's like, "Hey, we've got an appointment tomorrow at 1:00. Be there." I'm like, "Okay, bet, cool." And that's how we got the listing appointment, got the property under contract, and we ultimately sold it. We sold it twice, which is crazy.
What do you mean you sold it twice? How the fuck you sold it twice?
Right? Okay.
Wait a minute.
Right. This is where a mind shift for me changed in the game, okay? Because keep in mind, it was a fixer property. Now, the strategy with fixer properties is similar to how I told you how I fixed up my house. The whole strategy is, hey, I found a property that if you put $50K into it, we can sell it for this amount of money.
Right.
Plain and simple. So for this specific deal, I'll say we got it under contract for $1 million, right? It sounds wild, but this is LA, right?
Right.
For the specific neighborhood.
Right.
So the seller said, "Hey, I'll sell my home for $1 million." And it was trash, horrible. You would walk into it. I literally said, "Who would pay $1 million for this? Are people crazy?" Here's the crazy part. When I put it on the market, we had 5 offers for $1 million, right? Ended up selling it one time for $1 million. So we had that client. So after the transaction's done, shook hands with the seller. It was great working with you. Now we told the buyer, we said, "Hey, this is mid-COVID. Market was going crazy." We said, "Hey, because we got 5 offers on this, if you put this back on the market as it is, you could probably sell it for more." And he said, "You think so?" We said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, let's do it." So he bought it for $1 million. We put it back on the market at $1,250,000. we end up getting 3 more offers, sold it for 1.3.
Question. How y'all just gonna sell this man's house? So if the first buyer buys the house, but then you put it back on the market, it's already his house. So how can you sell his house?
Because he said, let's see. Because his goal for that house is, I'm going to fix it up and then sell it. Right? So he...
Oh, so the first buyer's
Yes.
goal was to fix it up.
Yes.
So he bought it as for $1 million. $4 million.
Yes.
He fixed it up.
Yes.
And then, but you guys eat off both deals.
Yes. Mind shift blown.
Get out of here.
I was like, hey, yo. For me, I was like, okay, I start to understand real estate now in a different space. You know what? What I'll do, I'll show you the actual property, so you know I'm not lying over here like you think. Oh, this man coming on a podcast and telling lies, right?
No, my wheels are turning because that makes so much sense.
Talk about it
as to why you would do it like that.
Talk about it.
And if I'm the person who buys the house for $1 million, then that means that I have the $1 million to buy it. Right?
That's right.
So if I have the $1 million to buy it, I see the potential in it. I fix it up, utilize my own money, and make more money. So my profit, I never lost $1 million. I just gained what they gained, the $250.
Absolutely.
So you gotta have
our client $250 in like 15 days.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. I was like,
wow.
What? It was a game changer for me because I hadn't experienced that yet in real estate. So when I saw that, that's when I'm like, oh, I see why real estate is such a crazy lucrative business. It can move fast, but at the same time, it can move slow too.
You want the seller and the buyer. As a realtor, you want the seller and the buyer. Or who do you want?
Sure. So for me as a realtor, I want listings because listings is market share and listings bring buyers.
Right.
So having the listing is the golden key.
Right.
Okay. Now, getting listings is a different skill set than getting buyers.
Because buyers are in need, right?
Yes. No.
Or sellers are in need.
They're both in need.
Okay.
Yeah. Our business is, I know people say, oh, you guys sell houses. We solve problems. We're problem solvers. We just happen to be transferring a house into ownership, but we're solving a problem for the seller, right? If a seller wants to sell, something is going on.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So the seller is more inclined to really get their sale, but opposed to and I'm not saying this is always, but the buyer at any time could pull out.
Absolutely.
But the seller, by the time you get to the point of realizing you want to sell, putting on you done at that point. I want to sell this. But the buyers, so I'm thinking like, do you really want the buyer or do you really want the seller?
Well, once again, you always want the seller, in my opinion. Now, in the transaction, being the realtor, you owe your client a fiduciary responsibility. I hate that word. But
what the fuck that means?
Simply,
I got viewers like, who for
right.
Who?
It simply means I'm going to guide you to a successful transaction the best that I can, right? Now, if you're representing the buyer, you owe that to the buyer.
Yeah.
But there's something called dual representation where I can represent both.
Oh, right.
I've got the seller and I've got the buyer. Yeah. So now you're riding a tough line because I need to hold down the seller and I need to hold down the buyer.
And you got to make them both happy.
Yeah. So I've done a dual transaction and luckily both sides were fine. Also too, you need to let them know there's a specific disclosure and say, hey, just so you know, we're also representing the buyer. And hey, just so you know, excuse me, we're also representing the seller. So each side knows, right? Got it. But to answer your question, you want listings, but there are transactions where you also represent both. You just have to make sure you're full and you disclose everything up front. So either side doesn't feel that, oh, they got played or something, you know? Real quick, I just want to show you that. What's that say at the bottom? What's the first number? It says sold.
$1 million.
And then what's the date?
June 25th, 2021.
Wow. Oh, okay. And then what's it say after that? So June, 5th, 2021 is
June
sold.
25th.
Okay, June 25th, 2021 sold for $1 million. What's the number after that?
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. So a couple days later, 5, 6, 7, 10 days later, July 3rd.
Listed it on the market for how much?
$1,250,000.
And then what?
Oh, wait a minute. Goddamn.
What happened after that?
Then how I get to 13?
Yeah, so we listed it for $1,250,000.
Okay.
We had 3 offers. We negotiated to bring up the price. So 1-3.
I don't know, y'all. Y'all might lose a host.
But this is, it should be a part of everybody's business now.
Do you want to sell this house?
That part.
Damn. How do you stand out in such a competitive market? What is some of the juice that you got that you like? That's what keep me in the game.
Nah, that's a great question. And it's something that I'm always working on. Staying authentic to who you are.
Yeah.
That's how you ultimately stand out. I'm over wanting to get a client that doesn't resonate with me. You know, I think especially as a Black professional, you know, I might have, I don't want to say dumbed down, but I might have toned down my approach, my energy, my authentic self. But where I'm at now is I want to work with people that want to work with me.
I feel like you said a whole lot without saying a whole lot. But on this show, we get to it. What you mean by
do
that?
it. No, I just think that.
Do you feel like Black realtors have to tone down their Blackness in order to seem more professional to their higher, what am I trying to say? To the people that got money. And I'm not just saying white. I'm saying anybody who got a little bit of money on them and they come into you and they're like, hey, I want to sell my $10 million home. Do you feel like you have to approach them with a certain, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's automatic that whenever we walk into rooms, we already stand out. Right. That's number one, right? So then at that point, it's okay, I need to be able to convey that I know what I'm doing and I can get the job done regardless of my skin color. Now, the question is, how many opportunities are the $10 million homeowners giving the opportunity to even interview a person of color to sell their home, right? I don't know what that statistic is out there, but I know it's not a lot. So when, or I'll say early on, to say I'm tired of, not showing up in my authentic self, I would be much more reserved, I would tone down my energy when really I'm like, hey, what's popping? It's your man, Jimmy V. You know what I mean? This is what I can do for you. This is why you want to work with me. I would tone that down. But now I'm like, hey, they're going to choose who they want to choose at the end of the day. Why not show up as best as I can as me? Right. So at the end of the day, walking out that door, I can say I stuck to who I was. Yeah. And hey, if I get it, great. If not, they weren't meant for me.
I know that's right. Ever wanted to quit being a realtor?
Every single day. Oh my
Get
gosh.
out of here.
Real estate is I feel like it's the new SoundCloud rapper. I kid you not, okay? It's the new SoundCloud rapper. Reason why, you will go on Instagram now and like it's so funny. Within the business, there's like this joke of you'll see, women realtors with like BBLs on and they're like, let me show show you the property, and they're like running around with their cheeks and stuff.
Yeah.
They think it's just that easy.
Yeah.
They think it's just that simple. And
not gonna hold you, Jimmy. The sad part about it is, I'm no realtor. I know it's not that easy. I know the logistics behind it is pretty much.
Yeah.
But you got some people out here, men and women, who will see the ass and be like, yeah, I want to go with that. And that's fucked up because people who are out here really putting in their time and stuff.
Absolutely.
And this is no shade to the people who got body, they're
I know, right? No,
hey,
hey, do your thing.
I'm just saying, sometimes people will use, men and women, their looks to get a sale and stuff like that. And it's just like, damn, what about the people that's, really putting in the work?
Really putting in work. And, and the crazy part is, right? Let's say a homeowner falls for that trap of the BBL, whatever, and they entrust that agent to sell their home, and their home sits on the market for 6 months.
Yeah.
And the home doesn't sell.
Yeah.
Now that homeowner is mad at the real estate industry, like, realtors, you guys don't do your job, blah, blah, blah. When the truth of the matter was, you fell for the BBL realtor who's
for the ass, slept with the ass,
not
experienced. She about to get your money.
Where you really should have interviewed a professional that can really get the job done. Once again, this is no shade to the BBL realtors. Yeah.
How do you handle slow seasons, and what is the financial reality about downtime in real estate?
That's such a good question. I think now just understanding when the slow seasons are, so being able to identify
so you can anticipate them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you now it's the fourth quarter, so holiday season. Ain't nobody thinking of buying really, but I'll tell you the strategy. But the slow season is holiday season and the first quarter, so January to April, well, March now. So
got it.
Right now we just entered the spring season, so it starts to pick up more. How to deal with the slow seasons. Make sure you strategize your finances beforehand. Don't go spending more thinking, hey, I got a deal around the corner, when transactions slow down during those slow seasons. But the strategy, which is a gem here, is the strategy for a buyer is, if you want a good deal, the end of the year is when you can get a good deal. Because if there's a homeowner that has their home on the market in December, they want to sell. There's something they want to sell.
Okay.
So what a buyer, the buyer's opportunity is, okay, well, I can come under asking price just because there's not a lot of competition. And when there's not a lot of competition, the buyer has leverage. But when there's a lot of competition, the seller has leverage. So now we come to talking about negotiating. We come to talk about, okay, I can ask to waive inspections if there's a lot of competition. Versus if there's not a lot of competition, I can ask the seller to pay for my closing costs. So it all depends on what's going on at that time. Is there a lot of demand?
Walk me through a day of being a realtor. You wake up in the morning. What's the first thing you do?
Yeah.
What is the reality of,
Absolutely. And it took me a minute to figure out my schedule. But my schedule, I wake up anywhere between 5:30 and 6:30. Sit down with wifey. We journal. And we do our spiritual pray. And we've got this devotional app that we read every morning. And then we go for our morning walk. So we do that up until maybe 7:38. At that point, my first thing is I look at my pipeline, which means what deals am I working on? Okay. Any sellers, any buyers, any tenants looking for leases. So I usually do that up until 8:30 or 9 o'clock. After that, 9 o'clock, hop on the phones. I like to start with birthdays. Birthdays are pretty simple. helps me warm up talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, sorry it was your birthday. Happy birthday.
Mm-hmm.
How's everything going?
Mm-hmm.
Just a simple conversation.
And these are people you know?
These are people that I know.
Okay.
Whether they're inside my phone,
Mm-hmm.
whether their Facebook is the reminder thing, because Facebook is going to remind you, hey, there's 15 people's birthdays today. So I'll either write something on their wall, or if I know them like that and I got their number, yo, what's up, man? Happy birthday. How's everything going? Just get into the flow of conversation. That's all I'm doing, getting in the flow of conversation. Because I know after talking to people's birthdays, I need to talk to homeowners that may not want to be speaking to me in the first place. So I'm warming myself up. So when I'm so from 9:30 to 11 or 9:30 to 12 now, I'm calling people in my phone, in my database. There's something called expires, which are homes that were on the market and they just came off the market.
Okay.
So for me as a realtor, I know you tried to sell your property, but it didn't sell. I can help you sell the home. But here's the thing. I'm not the only one that's calling.
Right.
There's 1,000 other realtors blowing up their phone. And actually, I was just talking to one of my other colleagues who he kills the game. He told me, man, realtors are starting to call at 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, wait, what? They're calling homeowners at 6:30? We're not supposed to call until 8. By the way, it's a law.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was thinking that maybe it's just considerate to wait.
Right. Yeah. Well, you would think so.
Yeah.
But we're technically not supposed to start to call until 8.
Okay.
But realtors are starting at 6:30.
That's tacky.
So now I know, tacky, right? Now I know my competition. They're on the phone at 6:30. What am I doing at 6:30? I'm talking to Jesus and I'm journaling. Right. You know, that's my decision.
And the cool part about it is the people who are getting the calls don't even know that it's illegal to get calls that early.
They don't. Right. Now they could complain and choose and, take it to a whole nother level, but that's if they want to do that. Yeah. So making my calls until about 11:30, 12. I take lunch at 12 to 1. And then from 1 to 4, I dedicate that to appointments or going to open houses to go see homes, learn the inventory. My perfect day, I want an appointment, whether it's a Zoom with a new buyer soon or whether it's I'm stopping by a homeowner's house to talk to them about selling their home. So my goal is to always have at least 1 to 2 appointments a day, minimum 1. And then I do that until about 4. And then from 4 to 5, I kind of unwind, review my day. And then by 5, I try to mentally clock out.
What advice would you give to someone who's trying to get into real estate today?
Get used to rejection because it's a rejection game. Number 1. But 2, know your stuff. Know the forms, and you need to be a problem solver because that's what it is at the end of the day. The consumer or a buyer's never bought a home, so you need to guide them to go through the process from start to finish and make sure the transaction ultimately closes. So that means knowing everything from finance options when you ultimately search for the home, understanding the inventory, understanding if the listing agent overpriced the home or not, understanding what's the value add if they do buy, right? Let's not only think about now. Let's think about, hey, if you sell this property that we bought in 2026, if you sell it in 2030, while you're there, if you update the bathroom, if you update the kitchen, you'll help it appreciate in value. So now when you sell it in 2030, it's worth more than what you bought it for. So now it's also a good investment that you made money on, right?
Best place to buy a home? within the States?
Oh, are we talking for primary living or are we talking for investing?
Both.
So for primary living, I hate to say it, Los Angeles.
Really?
Because it's beautiful out here.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be in Los Angeles. I hate the world wants to be in Los Angeles.
That is so true.
That is so many
true.
different industries out here. There's so much to do on a day. The tough thing about the Los Angeles market is the entry point to get a home is so high. Okay. Now, to answer the best place to invest in, my strategy when I'm talking to investors is you want to be in a landlord-friendly state because if you have any issues with your tenant, you want to be able to get them out as soon as you can. So there's landlord-friendly states out there that you can simply Google, give me a list of landlord-friendly states that you will have that list.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's a matter of identifying what asset makes sense, whether it's a single family, multi-unit, a condo, in order to invest in for it to ultimately cash flow to put money in your pocket.
Where do you see yourself as a realtor in 5 to 10 years? Give me the most ridiculous, because I'm a manifester and a Jesus believer.
Okay.
And a worshiper.
Let's talk about it.
And I say sometimes, I do this thing with my husband. Sometimes I'll call him, he's at work, and I'll be like, he'll ask me, oh, what you doing over there with the kids? Well, I just went into my backyard and I pulled up some of those onions and
I love that.
And I mean, I'll go through the whole bit.
That's dope.
Now I'm in the kitchen. The kitchen that that we have with the island top, and I'm just like, mind you, I don't have none of that yet.
Yeah. But it's coming.
Of course it's coming.
It's coming.
And I like to, I guess, play that game of speaking of things that are not now, and bringing them to me. And we do that a lot, and it helps to shift my mind, and it helps to prepare me to get, ready for the things that God has in store for me. So right now, craziest thing that you can imagine in 10 years, what is Jimmy doing as a realtor? Where is he at in the business?
I want to be developing real estate.
No, you don't want to be developing.
I will be
in 10 years
developing real estate, specifically ground up multifamily. That's an asset class that you get crazy tax advantages. You're providing housing for people, and the cash flow that you get from those units is pretty good. So my goal, which I will be doing, is developing multi-units. Will it be in LA? Not exactly sure.
Okay.
But it will be in a market where the numbers make sense, for sure. So what, it's 2026? So we talking in 2036.
Do you have kids in 2036?
Yes.
How many?
Yes, I do. Minimum 2.
Okay.
Definitely have 2, yeah. Little babies running around. That'll be exciting.
You got a boy or a girl? Or a boy and a girl? Or 2 girls, 2 boys? What you got?
Boy first, girl second. Either or.
What's your wife's name?
Claria.
Claria?
Claria.
That's pretty. I wasn't expecting that.
Precious stone, and she always reminds
me. Get out of here!
Shout
Shout out to our girl Claria.
Shout out to wifey.
Shout out Claria.
Yeah.
This was fun.
I hope so.
I learned a lot.
What's one thing that you took away?
To start off behind a team, get as much training as you can, fail fast, build your confidence. Don't be afraid to do the groundwork, the footwork. Okay. If you got to go knock on the doors. I'm an artist and a performer, so in my head I'm thinking, okay, by the time I get into being a realtor, I'll be going to events. Hey, I'm a realtor. Here's my card. I'll be doing shit like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just knowing that what you put in is what you'll get out.
That's a bar.
What you put in is what you'll get out. And I think that rings true specifically for real estate. I mean, it rings true in other areas, but I think in this game, what you put in is what you put out. How many hours you put in is what you're going to see, your results. And to not give up, to print out them goal letters.
Let's go. Yeah. Yeah.
And to save my money, live below my means so that I can actually keep my money.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we spend, we like to spend, and I've done it. Listen.
I am a spender. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. My husband's a serial saver. I am not. So I know I need to get a handle on that.
Okay. Y'all got that balance. Good. Yeah. Wifey's a serial spender. I'm the saver now. Oh my God. But I've never gotten a deal without some type of work being put in. I tell you that much. It's the universe. You know, some say it's a real estate gods. I don't like to say that. I believe there is God, and God rewards you from
they call it the real estate gods.
Yeah. But you will be rewarded by the work that you put in. You don't know where it's gonna come from. Like that, driving around 4 days, sending out. Phone rang, but I sent out 150 for one. Yeah, you know, versus another way is being on the phone for 4, 5, 6 hours. Yeah, a lot of people going to tell you, "Hey, F off," you know, don't ever call me again. You know, you guys are losers, and then but somebody will say, you know what?
Damn, I've been waiting on y'all to call. I've been waiting to this motherfucking house.
I actually need help. And then it's like, okay, there's a saying, your X amount of no's from your next yes. And that rings true. That rings true.
Well, this was episode 7 with your favorite realtor, Jimmy. Hey. This podcast 1001. We gonna see y'all next week. Peace, y'all.
Hey.
We'll never play. Ain't got time for the games after the pay. Here in LA.